Hello YouTube, hello everybody. Um the reason why I'm doing this video is because I have noticed that men are being told one thing and women are being told another. Um I'm a little bit older than other people, so growing up, we were told if a man goes and lays in the road naked, um dudes would pat him on the hand and say, "Hey, great job, man." And if a woman was to do it, it would be considered totally different. You cannot do what a man does and still call yourself a woman. Um, I say this because I guess I'm learning that my son is dating and he's in a relationship. And I stress to him the same way I stress to my daughters not to have sex before marriage, not to be in a relationship, um, to basically take that time and invest in yourself because I know that he is that much greater than anything else. I know that he is so wonderful. He has so many different talents and so much of a bright future ahead of him. You know, when I say the sky's the limit for this young man, and the sky is the limit, and I don't want things to prohibit him from moving forward. There are several traps that people set up against you or set up against your family that you may not know or you may have not been awakened to. One of the first things that people set up against you is sometimes through sexual activity. You've been in a relationship with someone, and this person is really for you. This person is here as a distraction to set you up. Not saying that the person isn't a good person. Not saying that the person um, is the original their original ambition is to hurt you. No, but a lot of times you end up in a relationship with somebody and it's a setup for your downfall and your failure. I am a true believer in that if you get into a relationship and in that relationship you're not prospering, all you see is your downfall, that means that it's not a good relationship for you. um you will never really prosper in that relationship, and it's best to cut that relationship off because it's not prosperous for you. It's a dead end. That goes for a woman, that goes for a man, or whatever. If you're dating and you're not prospering, you can find yourself in a real bad situation. I can give you a perfect example. I dated a guy for some years and I started noticing that I wasn't prospering. You know, every year it was a downfall. Every year it was lack of success. Every year I was losing constantly, from losing jobs to losing schooling, losing so many different things. And, you know, for me, I was taught, like, hey, you know, you got to stick it out sometimes to take the bad with the good or whatever. But that's not the case. If you're not married and you're not, and that's another thing, people rushing you to get married to them knowing that they will be your downfall. They will be the person that pretty much takes you to the bottom and takes you to that point where you don't have. So you have to be careful in your selection of who you're picking to date, who you're picking as in a relationship wise. Will this person treat you right? I mean, I know that my son would treat his woman right, but I'm not sure if others would treat him the way he's willing to treat them, I would say. Or I'm not sure, even with my daughters, I'm not sure. My daughters are the type that would be very good selections, investments in their dues, and being very good women. But that doesn't mean that the dudes that they're dating is willing to invest that same investment in them. Another thing I am a big believer on with dating. If you're dating, there should never be any negative words come out your mouth to the person that you're dating. Your house should always be a comfort zone and a happy zone. And when it is not, trust me, that is not the person for you. And when I say it's gonna be always a comfort zone and a happy zone, there's gonna be some times when you are ticked off mad with him. But it never gets to that point where it's out of control because he has respect for the house, he has respect for you, he has respect for what you believe in. And that is a hard thing to find in any relationship. You do not want to start dating a guy and then every time he enters into the house just go into chaos. Like it goes into utter destruction. That means that that's not a good relationship with you. Or you're dating a girl and every time she walks in the house just going to chaos. The kids, as long as she gone, the kids is just sitting down there eating their food. They're writing their own words. They're just as sweet as they want to be. As soon as she walks in, I don't know what it is, but it may be a negative thing, and the kids just start losing their mind, and she losing hers, and you just sitting there, you just looking at the whole house in chaos, and trying to keep your composure. These are not good signs because your house is a comfort zone, and in that house it should be nothing but comfort. But I must remind you that just because your house is a comfort zone doesn't mean that an outsider won't disrespect your home and won't disrespect your relationship or the person that you're with. I must remind you that nowadays there is no respect for the bedroom for marriage people. There is no respect for unmarried people. There is no respect, period. This is one of the most disrespectful generations I have ever seen. So when you're dealing with somebody, try to have the utmost respect for them. But if they don't have any respect, cut them completely off. They will not learn that. They will not earn that over time. They will never learn respect. So cut them off. You are worth so much more than what could ever be given to you by someone else. And that's the only way that I can put it. Nobody will ever love you the way you love you. They will always shortchange you on that love. They will never give you what you're really worth. So take the time out to evaluate yourself to make sure that you're with somebody if you're choosing to be with somebody, because my belief is not to date, not to have sex, and not to be in a relationship, especially in these times, because bringing forth children into these terrible times, bringing forth offspring, bringing forth anything, bringing forth a marriage is sometimes not easy to bring forth in this generation and keep it together and keep it intact for the longevity. It's a higher percentage that you may end up divorced and you may not understand why or for what reason. And then you have the attacks that go on spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And these are still present and still taking place now. You have to be very careful. My advice to any and everybody is to just make wise decisions, not be sexually active, not do crazy stuff. Even if you're married, I mean, if your partner wants you, then I understand this is something that they want and you have to surrender to. But at the same time, be careful with even that. There are a lot of things that have been reported to take place and have been reported to happen and stuff like that. I will definitely attempt to elaborate on it on my next video that I'm gonna post, where you guys can have a better idea of certain things taking place. But definitely always have a kind word for your spouse, your mate, and just be careful. I cannot stress that enough. Just be careful. Make sure that you're progressing. If you're not, let the relationship go.